They return, there is a real likelihood that they will be killed. They are refugees, and they should be able to have refugee status here in the United States. So I can't give you an answer on that. I think the president is wrong.
We sit down with Bernie Sanders and ask him about calling out the president on immigration, along with the Bundy-led standoff in Oregon and the prospect of a nuclear North Korea.
Let me just say, as a native Nevadan, it's incredibly embarrassing to export our terrorists to other states.
Our face-off panel weighs in on the latest Bundy standoff and land in federal hands.
From 8 News Now, this is Politics Now with Steve Sebelius and Patrick Walker.
All 3 Democratic presidential candidates campaign in Las Vegas this week. Good evening. I'm Steve Sebelius.
And I'm Patrick Walker. We sat down with Bernie Sanders to talk about immigration raids and the Bundy standoff in Oregon.
Here's the first part of that interview.
Welcome back to the show. Let's start with a Nevada topic we've seen that spilled over into Oregon, the standoff at the wildlife refuge with the Bundys. We saw that in 2014 here. How does President Sanders handle that? Do you wait them out? How do you go in and try to end that situation?
Well, obviously what they're doing is illegal, and obviously it has to be dealt with, and obviously it has to be dealt with as little violence and hopefully no violence at all. But in the United States of America, armed people cannot take over federal property. End of discussion.
They are armed. They've gone in armed. Do you see this as an act of domestic terrorism?
Well, so far, thank God, nobody has been killed. But people with guns cannot be allowed to take over federal property. That has to be dealt with. They must be prosecuted. But again, I want to see this ended with as minimal violence as possible.
Senator, you have called today for President Obama to end deportation raids for Central American immigrants who are fleeing violence. Have you heard a response from the president?
Not yet, I think, no.
In your mind, why are these raids going on? Why is the president, who favors immigration reform, engaged in this kind of behavior?
I wish I knew the answer, but I just will tell you that I strongly disagree with the president on this. These are folks who in many respects are fleeing countries where communities are run by drug cartels, where if they return, there is a real likelihood that they will be killed. They are refugees, and they should be able to have refugee status here in the United States. So I can't give you an answer on that. I think the president is wrong.
He has taken a lot of grief for his executive orders on immigration, but yet at the same time, he has deported millions of people, many more than any previous president. Is there a possibility in your mind, you think, that he wants to be tough on immigration to mitigate the criticism of the actions that he's taken?
Well, I'm not going to speculate, but I think that is not an illogical conclusion to be reached. I mean, he has been attacked a whole lot. Look, my view is you got 11 million people who are undocumented. 99% plus are honest people who've come into this country to try to improve lives for their family. I think we need to provide legal status to those people. I think we need to move toward a path toward citizenship. I think we need comprehensive immigration reform.
When you look at the international stage, the topic now is North Korea. Kim Jong-un, the state is saying they've tested a hydrogen bomb. Many are saying, no, that's not the case. But regardless, we're talking about a nuclear North Korea. How do you handle that? And is going through the UN appropriate action, or does the U.S. need to do more to try to curb that?
Well, my own view in terms of foreign policy is that we have got to act in coalition. We have got to act with the United Nations. We've got to learn the lesson from the war in Iraq that we cannot do everything alone. I think in this particular case, with an isolated and a paranoid government in North Korea, probably the best ally, ironically, that we have there is China. Because China has been, although China has a great deal of tension with North Korea as well, they have been more supportive financially and economically than perhaps any other country. So I think we got to lean on China and work with China to make sure that North Korea does not get a hydrogen bomb.
And does the idea of a hydrogen bomb or even a nuclear North Korea, is that a scary thought?
Of course it's a scary thought. You have when you have a government that is isolated, that is paranoid, that is incredibly authoritarian, that has no people to direct them, but a handful of people on top, that is always a dangerous situation, no question about it.
At the end of your debate in November, Hillary Clinton was asked about some comments that she had made back in the 90s, in which it appeared that she supported a Medicare for all comprehensive single-payer system that she no longer supports. And she didn't so much deny it as say, I waited and the revolution never came. That's obviously a direct shot at your call for political revolution. Why now do you think that there's a possibility to get things like that? And is her pragmatism born of this experience that the revolution never came?
Well, I wouldn't agree with that. I think that what makes today different than in past years is there is a growing anger and in fact disgust that the average American is working longer hours for low wages, that we have 47 million people living in poverty, and yet almost all of the new income and wealth being created is going to the top 1%, that we have a grotesque level of income and wealth inequality. And I think the American people are saying enough is enough. And the issue in terms of health care is a pretty simple one. We are the only major country on earth that doesn't guarantee health care to all people as a right, and yet we are spending far, far more per capita on health care than do the people of other nations. We have the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. 1 out of 5 Americans can't afford to fill the prescription drugs, the prescriptions that their doctors are giving them. This is a pretty crazy situation. So if we want health care for all in a cost-effective way, in my view, a Medicare for all single-payer system is the way to go. I think there is growing support among the American people to do that and move in that direction.
Well, the Sanders contrast with Clinton couldn't have been more clear at that Wednesday dinner or in our interview. He just wants to go farther than she does on health care, college tuition, and other issues, and he's not shy about talking about it.
No, and he also has spent a lot of time here in Las Vegas. He could probably get a house, a residency here, perhaps more than any of the other Democratic candidates and maybe more than the Republicans as well. He has now 5 weeks until the Democratic caucus, which could be a critical contest for him, especially if Clinton wins Iowa and Sanders wins New Hampshire. That's going to be an interesting matchup for that third up in the primary.
Would be the tiebreaker, yeah, absolutely going in South Carolina. Well, coming up ahead, more with Bernie Sanders.
In the sense that we have a corrupt campaign finance system, the American people, 75% are exactly correct.
Well, we ask him about the 3/4 of Americans who think the government is corrupt and his push for paid family medical leave. Next.
With a title loan from Rapid Cash, you can get up to $10,000 cash on the spot. Get the most cash out of your car and into your pocket. With Rapid Cash, you'll always get the most competitive rates. Keep your keys, keep your car, get your cash.
Love that Rapid Cash.
Uncover great prizes with Pharaoh's Billion Point Pyramid at all station casinos. Swipe and play every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for up to 1 million points guaranteed. Pick a tile for guaranteed points, get a Pharaoh, and move up the pyramid to win 1 million points. Turn your riches into cash, free slot play, dining, and more. Plus, earn entry into the Room of Riches cash drawing on January 31st. Win up to 10 grand. Pharaoh's Billion Point Pyramid at all station casinos and fiestas.
The world is getting more dangerous. Your home may not be as safe as you think. Trust Rolladen Rolling Shutters to protect your home, your business, and especially your family. Your windows alone can't stop burglars. You need the protection only Rolladen Rolling Shutters can provide. With Rolladen's durable aluminum construction and insulation, you'll be safe and secure while saving money, up to 60% off your energy bills. Call now. Rolladen Rolling Shutters, 702-878-1072 for peace of mind.
A lost culture has returned. Be amazed. Be inspired. Discover hope. Experience a divine culture. Shen Yun. Coming to the Smith Center for the Performing Arts, January 21st through 24th. Tickets at shenyun.com.
When you need cash fast with flexibility, go to Rapid Cash for an easy pay installment loan and get more cash than a payday loan. Make flexible payments, you don't need a bank account, and consolidate your more expensive loans.
Love that Rapid Cash.
Welcome back to Politics Now.
Well, a recent Gallup poll showed that fully 75% of Americans believe the federal government is corrupt.
And it sounds like Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders agrees. We ask him about that and more in part 2 of our sit-down interview.
Secretary Clinton yesterday talked about being the only candidate on stage that doesn't want to raise middle-class taxes. I didn't hear you say in response to that, look, we're going to have to raise taxes to pay for the things that I'm talking about, but you will get something for that money. It's not like we're baking it into pies.
Yes, exactly. I think what Secretary Clinton may have been talking about is the fact that I support, along with virtually every progressive Democrat in the United States Senate and the United States House, paid family and medical leave legislation. And what that legislation says is that you will pay $1.61 on average a week more in your payroll tax, and what you will get is 3 months of paid medical and family leave. So when your family has a baby, your wife and you can stay home with that baby. If there's an illness in your home, you will have the legal right to stay home with 2/3 of your salary up to a certain cap. I think that that is a very good investment. I think the American people want it. I think the legislation that's in the Senate and the House is good legislation. I proudly support it, and frankly, I'm surprised that Secretary Clinton, who talks a lot about paid family and medical leave, does not support it.
Recently, the Gallup organization put out a poll that showed that 75% of Americans think that the federal government is corrupt. How difficult does that make what you're trying to do in assembling a coalition of people to change what's going on?
Well, I'm probably one of the 75%.
Yeah, I was going to use, so you are among the 75%.
And here's why it's corrupt. It is corrupt, and people may not know it intellectually, they know it instinctually. When you have the Sheldon Adelsons, when you have the Koch brothers, when you have billionaires spending unlimited sums of money to elect the candidates of their choice, you don't need to be a political scientist to know who these candidates, these elected officials are going to be working for. They're not going to be working for the middle class, for lower income people. They're going to be working for the wealthy and the powerful. You got instance after instance, whether it is an entire Republican Party rejecting science on climate change. Why is that? Oh, maybe it has something to do with the fact that the Koch brothers are in the fossil fuel industry, and that ExxonMobil and all these big energy companies make large campaign contributions. Why is it that when the American people want to raise the minimum wage, the Republican leadership refuses to do that? I think it has something to do with campaign contributions coming from the business community. So in the sense that we have a corrupt campaign finance system, the American people, 75% are exactly correct.
Well, Sanders has talked from the start about how the system is corrupt and how we need a political revolution if we're ever going to bring about some real changes.
Yeah, and his message really hasn't changed much, which his supporters say is the appealing part, especially when you compare to Hillary Clinton, who they would argue has flip-flopped on several issues.
Sure, absolutely. Well, Nevada's Attorney General Adam Laxalt is trying to kill the latest lawsuit filed over the state's new education savings accounts program. But here's where this story gets tricky. That lawsuit was filed by Lieutenant Governor Mark Hutchison in his private law practice against the state. Hutchison is suing on behalf of two parents and asking the court to declare the ESA law constitutional so they can be assured of getting the money when the program goes into effect next month. But Laxalt is asking a judge to throw out Hutchison's lawsuit. The Attorney General notes that the issues raised in his complaint are already addressed in two separate lawsuits filed against the program, and those cases are already far down the line. Not only that, but Laxalt notes that Hutchison once represented other clients that joined with the AG's office to defend the program and now has an ethical conflict because he was privy to insider information. For his part, Hutchison says he's just trying to make sure the program will be there for his clients. He says he'll personally argue his side, and he challenged Laxalt to show up in court and do the same. Oh, and the final irony here, Laxalt points out in his court papers, both Hutchison and Laxalt, Republicans both, support the ESA program, and they want it to succeed.
This is one that just makes your head spin because it goes through three different branches almost.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see when that hearing comes out if they actually do face off in court. Well, coming up, a fight over federal lands.
Well, they're not helping my cause, which is to get the land back in the hands of the people.
Our face-off panel weighs in on the Oregon Bundy standoff and its impact on discussion of federal lands. Plus,
as president, I will be your first line of defense against the dangers we face. I will always have your back.
All three Democratic presidential candidates speak at a dinner at the MGM Grand. How Bernie Sanders' competitors pitch themselves to the crowd.
I did not expect to get as much as I did. If you want to get the most out of your settlement, I definitely would recommend them.
When Learner is the way to go, call 877-1500.
Now handling IBC filter cases.
A snow load photo gallery brought to you by Tough Shed. You may not have snowfall like this in your neck of the woods, but no matter what kind of weather you call severe, do yourself a favor and protect your belongings inside a Tough Shed. Got severe weather? No problem. Get free installation year-round from the pros at Tough Shed. Shop our Factory Direct location in Las Vegas. Call us at 1-800-BUY-TOUGH and visit us online at toughshed.com.
It's a year of decisions. Red or blue. Hybrid or electric. Gas or diesel. Whatever gets your vote, we've got it at the Valley Auto Mall in Henderson. With 20 dealers and 25 brands all at one location, the Valley Auto Mall is the clear choice. Make your mark. Shop the Valley Auto Mall or valleyautomall.com.
As soon as I was injured, I knew immediately I needed an attorney because I didn't want to deal with the hassle of the insurance companies. They helped me get all the medical attention I needed without any money out of my pocket.
Call 877-1500.
Now handling IBC filter cases.
Monday morning, they live outside our neighborhoods and enter them at night.
The risk coyotes pose to our communities, how you can protect your pets from their grass.
Plus, are you afraid of the dentist? A new type of therapy could help you get your teeth cleaned without being sedated. The breakthrough found in a new study.
And making a busy Valley Road more pedestrian friendly. The changes NDOT is making on Boulder Highway after many of you told me it's driving you crazy. It's all coming up Monday morning.
this is the Race Now, where we go over the big stories of the week. Faraday Future revealed its big design at CES this week. After months of teases, they showed off this sports car that has the look of the old school Batmobile. Faraday got a tax incentive package of $335 million, along with infrastructure improvements at the Apex Industrial Park in North Las Vegas during last month's special session. All three Democratic presidential candidates were at a dinner hosted by Harry Reid on Wednesday night. It wasn't a debate. They gave speeches at different times. Martin O'Malley touted his experience, and Hillary Clinton talked about how she envisions the future if a Republican wins.
My experiences as an executive, a mayor and as a governor, bringing people together, getting things done.
They would stack the tax code even more for those at the top. They would do everything they could to bust unions and set back working families, round up and deport millions of immigrants, put consumers at the mercy of drug companies, insurers, and predatory lenders.
All three candidates held campaign events here this week as well, with Hillary Clinton still courting the politically powerful culinary union, which has not yet endorsed a candidate.
Time now for Face Off, where our panel talks about the biggest issues of the week with perspectives from the left and the right. This week joining us is Annette Magnus, Executive Director of Battleborn Progress, and from the right, KXNT radio host Alan Stock. This week we discussed the latest in the Bundy standoff. You have a militia now in Oregon. This is the second time we've seen a Bundy-led group out there, wildlife refuge. But we always talk about the underlying issue as well, federal control of land and who can use the land. So opinion first, just a quick opinion on them being up there, Ammon Bundy and company, and then on the underlying issue of land use.
Well, let me just say, as a native Nevadan, it's incredibly embarrassing to have to export our terrorists to other states, because that's what these people are. The Bundys are terrorists. They are overstepping overstepping their bounds. They took over a federal building. I don't know any other group in this country that would be able to do that without the FBI or somebody coming in and telling them to knock it off. And the fact that they haven't been taken care of yet is very frustrating to me. You know, we gave up our land, 87% of our land in Nevada, to become a state back when we became a state. And so this notion that somehow we should seize the land back from the federal government is completely false. Also, if we did seize that land back, how would we pay for it if there was some sort of natural disaster or something like that? Leave the management to the feds. There's already a system in place to sell that land back to the state if it's needed, and that system is working. These are lawbreakers, and they need to be dealt with.
Alan, are they domestic terrorists?
Well, first of all, the system is not working because 87% of the land is not in the hands of Nevada. And Nevada had to give up the land to become a state. But you notice that the people who are controlling what's going on are the people from the East Coast who have almost no federal land for their various states compared to what we've given up. We need to get that land back. I've been saying that for many years. Get that land back, give it to the hands of the state and to developers, and allow the development to occur. Now, having said that, I think that the way that they're going about it is absolutely the wrong way. And if they're trying to convince people that this is the thing that needs to be done to give land back to the state, they're not getting people on that side. If anything, they're going to turn people off. I wish they would go home. I wish they would go home also. They're not helping my cause, which is to get the land back in the hands of the people. It's making it look foolish. I'm not sure what they're trying to accomplish because the ranchers up there who were the middle of the whole brouhaha that went on, they peacefully went to prison. They said, you don't represent us. These Bundy folks don't represent us. Then the Bundys try to say something about the Indian land. Give it to the Indians when, yeah, we'll glad to take any land you want, but you know what? You don't represent us either. This has nothing to do with you. So why these people have come from not just Nevada, but all over trying to make an issue that's not their issue, to me, it's the wrong thing and it's bad PR.
Stumping for Carly Fiorina.
Carly Fiorina and Hillary Clinton debate, I would actually watch that on pay-per-view. I would pay to watch that. I think Carly would do circles around Hillary Clinton.
I sit down with Carly Fiorina supporter and volunteer Amy Tarkanian to discuss why the former HP executive is the right fit for the White House.
Right now at Planet Nissan, lease an all-new 2016 Altima or the new body-style 2016 Rogue. Just $199 a month for well-qualified lessees. Or get no payments for 90 days and included registration only at Planet Nissan.
What makes the El Cortez different? More games, more food, more fun. And with our Hot Streak slots, more bonuses. As you play, you'll fill up a fever meter that triggers a bonus and then starts filling again. It's the faster way to bonus play. With our new kiosks, you can see your offers and you can spin and win prizes right at the kiosk. Right now, if you earn 1,500 points in a day, you get a pack of top brand cigarettes, a Jackie Burger, or a Subway sub. The El Cortez has always had more to offer and always will.
Does Prism TV have all the channels we watch? That's a great question. Prism TV has all the channels I watch, and lots of HD. And I like HD.
Get over 140 of your favorite channels with the Prism Essential TV package from CenturyLink. Now's the time to switch to Prism TV. Get Prism TV and internet from CenturyLink at our lowest price of the year. Just $70 a month for 1 year with auto-pay enrollment.
On sale now. Disney on Ice presents Frozen January 6th through 11th at the Thomas & Mack Center. Tough Enough. Future stars of MMA. January 15th at the Cox Pavilion. Peppa Pig Live. February 19th at the Cox Pavilion. Tickets on sale now at unlvtickets.com or call 702-739-FANS.
UNLV.
Tickets!
We get you there. Right now at Planet Nissan, save $3,500 off MSRP on brand new Sentras and $6,000 off MSRP on brand new Altimas. Plus, get no payments for 90 days and included registration only at Planet Nissan.
Republican presidential candidate Carly Fiorina has only made one appearance of her own here in Las Vegas, and a group of former Republican state party chairwomen are supporting her. We sat down with Amy Tarkanian, who is affiliated with her super PAC, to talk about her Nevada campaign. obviously with a large field. That's what stood out with you. What makes her the good choice for the Republican base?
I like the fact that she has her conservative principles. She sticks to them. But she's not a black or white candidate. She's somebody who's also a very good listener. And she does have a campaign right now actually called Your Voice, Your Ad. And what that does is the general public can submit their ideas and thoughts to Carly Fiorina on how they would like to improve government issues such as health care, with the veterans, whatever it may be. They can submit their ideas and issues to her, and then the campaign will put those together and they will issue them out, so then that way the general public can say, you know what, I like that person's idea. Let's go ahead and submit an idea of my own. And I think that's important because that's something that most politicians aren't really good at. They're not really good at listening.
Well, and as a former business executive, that's something we've seen. We've noticed that, you have a Donald Trump, a Ben Carson. These are folks that are political outsiders, so to speak, and Carly Fiorina is another one.
Yes, she's definitely a political outsider, and I think that's something that the general public is craving. We are so tired of polished politicians that just go out there, say one thing, and do another. They do not listen. They do not follow through, and you never know what you're going to get. So I think someone like Carly Fiorina, who is very strong, who has the management experience, who has the CEO experience, and she's overcome so many obstacles in her personal life and succeeded, that is somebody that I would like to have my children look up to.
You have maybe Hillary Clinton on one side, and then you have Carly Fiorina on the other. What would make an independent lean her way, as opposed to maybe going toward Hillary?
Right. Well, wouldn't that be wonderful to watch Carly Fiorina and Hillary Clinton debate? I would actually watch that on pay-per-view. I would pay to watch that. I think Carly would do circles around Hillary Clinton. Hillary seems to blow with which way the wind is going that day, and I think that's why she's actually struggling with somebody like Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, I would consider him to be more of the Donald Trump on the Democrat side. He's somebody who is very vocal, is kind of throwing a wrench in Hillary's campaign, and he is actually very compassionate and sincere about what his beliefs are. I don't agree with probably 99% of them, but what's coming out of his mouth is truly what he believes. And with Hillary, she has a trust problem. She has an honesty problem. Carly doesn't have that.
Well, this is What to Watch, where we tell you about the big stories to watch over the coming week. President Obama's final State of the Union address is on Tuesday. The president says the speech will spotlight the achievements of his presidency and lay out a sweeping, optimistic vision for the future. And the next Republican presidential debate will be on Thursday on the Fox Business Network. This debate takes place in North Charleston, South Carolina, and will focus on economic, domestic, and international policy issues. The primetime debate will only have 6 candidates. The rest will be in the earlier debate.
Yeah, a lot to talk about there, especially with the North Korea developments that we asked Bernie Sanders about. So that'll be interesting to see how the Republicans would handle Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with the that shocking news. I think everybody is a little bit nervous about that with nukes going on. So thanks for watching Politics Now. You can email us at politicsnow@lasvegas.com.
And we are your election headquarters for the next year. Keep up with us online and every Sunday.